now, and we're live with another episode of BS Busters. And it's time to dive into it. But before we do, we'll have the lady introduce herself, and then the gentleman, and then I'll introduce myself, and then we'll get started. So, lady, introduce yourself.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all ages, welcome to the BS Busters Midweek podcast. I am Joe Eli Moonstar, and fair warning, we do have the Dallas Club, and we will use it to get rid of anybody that calls that they haven't seen the movie yet.
Yeah, and if anyone has anything to say that's contrarian, oh shit, you're still here. I don't have my Infinity Stones on me. Don't worry, I'll go find them, and then your ass is mine. Okay, Pinky, go.
Hello, this is Pinky Doctor Facts. I'm not in a good mood today because I was in an interview that I just messed up badly. Now I feel like I'm going to get rejected, so I have to wait until like next year to re-register again.
All right. Okay then. So that being said, it's me, Mr. Red Fox. Hopefully we can cheer up our friend of the podcast, Pinky, with talking about some bullshit that needs to get busted. So of course it's me, Mr. Red Fox, and we're talking about all types of fun things, mostly video games. But we're also in the latter half of this podcast. We're going to talk about something else that's near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about, spoilers for Avengers Endgame.
And he will get those stones soon for that section. So if you don't want any spoilers,
don't
be
worry,
ready to run.
I'll let you know. I'll let you know when we get to that point. So if you're watching and you're like, I haven't seen it yet, I don't want spoilers, you can go and do something else. And the spoilers won't be that long. It'll only be like 10 minutes.
A few minutes.
Yeah, at the most 10 minutes. So, you can go get something to drink, go grab a beer, go, play a few minutes of Steam World Quest or whatever you want to do. But before we get into it, we have some news of the week to get through. So we have some breaking news that just came out. Epic has bought Psionics, so they're taking Rocket League off of Steam. So
I don't know how this is going to affect those who already bought Rocket League for the Steam account.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think maybe this just means that this seems kind of a dick move. I think there may be some contractual obligations that they might be able to pull it off of Steam, but they're gonna have to pay somebody. There's gonna be some money going out. They're gonna have to reimburse the people who bought it on Steam. This is messy, and Epic is playing a dangerous game. Here's my advice to Steam. If you wanna fight back without negotiating with terrorists, here's what you need to do, Steam, Valve. Hey guys, we're making Half-Life 3. We're making Portal 3. We're making Left 4 Dead 3.
They're counting 3.
And we're also going to let's see. We're gonna drop Artifact because no one gives a shit about that game. No one cares. Seriously, just no one gives a shit about Artifact. We're going to make a Half-Life 3, and we're going to get because here's the thing. Valve still has a lot of fucking money. So here's what they need to do, okay? Right now. Now is the time. Here's what they need to do. Get the team together. Say you have 18 months to get this game together, plus another 6 months getting the team together, so 2 years. We're making Half-Life 3. And really get people who have Steam involved in on it. Show pre-alpha builds, alpha builds, beta builds, stuff like that. Have an open beta. Do that type of shit. Get people involved into it. Get a Portal 3 out. Portal 3, all you have to do is use the same engine you use for Portal 2. That shouldn't be take that long to make. You could make that in less than a year if you really had a team together to do it. Left 4 Dead 3. Hell, Turtle Right, they aren't doing shit because their last game Evolve flopped harder than a fat kid jumping in a pool. So I mean,
Ouch.
you know, Left 4 Dead 3, folks. Left 4 Dead 3. Maybe this time add a kind of a beefy single player mode. Maybe add environmental destruction. I don't know. And boom, you know, exclusive to Steam. And I guarantee you, you'll start getting people to come back. But this shit where you guys are like, well, you know, Artifact over here, you guys need to get your shit together. Your guys' thoughts on it?
Seriously, if Epic's going to be doing some root star crashing sorts, they really are aiming for Steam stuff. Anything.
Yeah, they're doing some dirty stuff. They're doing some. I mean, not really dirty. It's called,
business low. That's what I was saying.
Well, I mean, it's not even really low. It's just they're being very aggressive with some of the moves they're making. Like really aggressive, like far more aggressive than what we're used to in the video game market.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing I only bought the Switch version of Rocket League, so I don't have to worry about this.
I mean, normally I would agree with you, but the thing is like Epic. Like, here's the thing: there's gonna be spillover. This is not just gonna affect Steam. This is gonna affect other marketplaces.
But there is. You forgot to mention crossplay.
Yeah, like this is gonna affect other marketplaces. So it's like, you know, I just, you know, whatever. I don't. At this point, I just don't care. You know, either support it or don't support it. Like for me, like there was one game, and it's like an indie game that I really wanted. That's basically like I almost had no choice to get it because I'd been looking forward to this game for a long time. But you know, you don't have to be like me. I mean, here are your choices. You either wait a year for the year exclusivity, or you can find other means to get the games without going through Epic. Or, I mean, that's it. Those are your choices, which is kind of sad. But that's, you know,
Maybe. But then again, there's some people that have high constitution.
they can knock themselves out. Me personally, like I said, like, you know, there's some games I can wait a year on, no problem. I don't feel like waiting a year for, say, you know, I can wait a year for RPGs because, you know, RPGs take such a long time to do. So if you have one RPG, you got a long time to kind of, you know, make sure that shit's going to do what it needs to do. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know, you know. But whatever. Whatevs. But with that being said, I mean, where can we go from here? What other? I mean,
What else? I was gonna say, if we did cover about what Steam's done, I can only imagine whatever. Oh yeah, that's right. Sony had something going on with Death Stranding, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Yes, aka Normie Reedus and his funky fetus.
Or I mean, that almost sounds like Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark, and the Funky Bunch.
I think that's the inspiration.
Yeah, but Marky, Norman Reedus and his how can I put this nicely without sounding like a dick? Norman Reedus and Death Stranding. I mean, we all knew that the reason Death Stranding is the way it is because basically they wanted to they spent a lot of money to get this shit to get this game to come out, and we don't know if that game is going to make it. You know, like I mean, people are wondering like why did this happen? I mean, it should be fairly obvious to everybody that the reason you're not seeing a lot of games coming out for the Sony isn't having a thing is because I mean, a part of it is that they're doing the PS5 or whatever next year, but a lot of it is also because, essentially speaking, a lot of the money it was put towards this shitty Kojima game. And that's right. I called a Kojima game shitty because Kojima hasn't made a good game in years. So,
and he's a hack storyteller.
Yeah.
That is so true beyond a shadow of a doubt.
So, like, but the thing is like like in his head, he thinks he's being very clever, but he's not.
Well, I mean, the story in Metal Gear Solid 2 foretold what was to come in the 2010s, such as social media.
Yeah, I'm not.
That is total. I'm
And
sorry.
The
That
government.
Here's the problem with that is that Japan has always been about 10 years ahead of everybody else. And so basically, like in the 90s, they had phones that had instant messaging services in Japan when that game was being made. Like they had that shit. So that wasn't really the future. That's what they had. So I'm sorry. I just really, I cannot in good faith say that it's telling the future. Now, what I will say is that Hideo Kojima's games have an interesting thing, but here's the thing. All of his games are just ripoffs of movies. Like Metal Gear Solid is a ripoff of Escape from New York, like even down to the main character's name. Solid Snake, the main character in Escape from New York is Snake Plissken. Now check this out. Snake Plissken is a soldier who becomes disillusioned with the government. Okay, he becomes disillusioned with the government and winds up becoming a criminal, right? And then on top of that, he becomes he's clever. He's a one-eyed soldier, and he's got all types of gadgets and shit. I mean, the whole thing is just one big fucking.
And he also has an eye patch like the snake in Snake Eater.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, but I just, I can't. It's the man is not. The man is no. I'm saying Snake Eater stole the shit from Solid Snake. Stole it from John Carpenter, and not the other way around. So even his more original, quote unquote, I'm using original very
loosely.
Very loosely. Even his more original works are just knockoffs of other shit, like Police Knots is essentially Lethal Weapon in space. Even the main characters, the black guy looks like Riggs. I mean, looks like Murtaugh. And the white guy looks like Riggs. I mean, it's like, God damn, seriously? You can't even be bothered to create an original character. And Snatcher is literally just Blade Runner. It's just Blade Runner. That's all it is. It's just Blade Runner. So the man is a hack. He's a complete and total hack. And frankly speaking, like people who are like, hey, he's a genius, he's brilliant. I'm like, are we seeing the same shit here? Because I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry. I know people are gonna get angry when they hear that, but
sorry, but two of us are on the cult of anti-Kojima. So if anything, we're not gonna buy beep.
I'm not anti-Kojima. I just think that he's full of shit. I just think he's completely and totally full of shit. But
yeah.
I think he's how's the word I put it? Phony. He's a phony. He's a fraud. He's a fraudster.
A big fat phony.
And I think he's I think he's overrated as a game maker. I think there's more talented people out there than Hideo Kojima, and I think they don't get credit for how clever they are. Like, because Metal Gear Solid, like Hideo Kojima is like Ridley Scott. Like Hideo Kojima's games are good in spite of him, not because of him. And that's how I feel about Ridley Scott. Ridley Scott's games are good in spite of Ridley Scott, not because of them. And I know some people are going to get mad when they hear that, but I don't really give a shit. But that being said, I guess we can talk about some other stuff. Here, let's move on to something else. Let's see here. We did Sony, so now I guess we can talk about Anthem. Anthem continues to hemorrhage. It's hemorrhaging players now. Like people apparently can't find
allies to work with.
Yeah. And content is being cut. So this is the problem with games as a service, is because when you just made games the old-fashioned way, you made a game, if it sold well, you made more content. See, this shit with games as a service, if you can't make enough money with the service, you're pretty much screwed. And that's not good. So that's all I got to say about that. You got your guys' thoughts on Anthem just continuously hemorrhaging a player base?
You call it a train wreck. I call it the Titanic. Both of them are bad signs that a game is failing hard.
I feel like it's beating a dead horse by this point. But we already know it was a failure from before it was even released due to EA's checkered past.
Yeah. I mean, because BioWare has been pretty shitty lately, so it's not like it was going to get any better anytime soon, Which is kind of sad because, I mean, it's like I wanted this to be good, but it wasn't going to happen, And I knew this shit was in trouble when BioWare was like, oh, thank God we no longer have to actually, we no longer actually have to worry about, making a game with story. I'm like, you guys make RPGs, and the core, like the most important part about an RPG is the story, right? Like there's a lot of other genres where it doesn't matter what the general story is. Like no one gives a shit what the story is in a Mario game. I mean, you might like Mario games, but no one's like, oh man, this story is trash, son. Like no one cares about that. But like if you're playing like a Legend of Zelda game, the story is important because it's an adventure game. And if you're playing like a RPG, the story is really important because an RPG with a shitty story is just,
it's a drag.
Yeah. Even if the battle system's good, if the story's trash, then you're just like, okay, I can't I can't deal with this. But hey, your guys' thoughts on let's see. Anyone have anything else they want to add about it before we move on to the Sega's Sonic movie?
And not at the moment.
I'm gonna say this before we move on. This is what happens when you do not make your game into something of a quality product first, and then think of the multiplayer. You get trash like this.
You mean the Sega Sonic movie? Oh, you mean Anthem?
Anthem.
Yes.
I mean, not only that. It's like, okay, it's like this. Okay, Tokyo EAD, like they're known for making like Mario games, right? And those are platformers, right? Like Mario is like straight up just a platformer, right? It would be weird if you basically said, Tokyo EAD, we want you to make a straight up RPG, but we don't, like, that's not our thing. You're gonna make it. It's like, well, that's not really what they're good at. That's not what they're known for. That's not their talent. Now, I'm not saying they couldn't do it. I'm just saying that overall, that's not really their strong point, if you will. So, I mean, that would be kind of weird if, that shit went down for, say, someone else. You know what I mean? So, I mean, personally, I'm kind of weirded out by the whole thing, But hey, what do I know? I'm just some guy.
So now we move on to living in a gangster's paradise.
Yeah, the Sega Sonic movie.
And I think all three of us could agree on one thing. Jim Carrey is going to have a lot of work to do if he's going to be the one saving this movie.
Well, I mean, Jim Carrey is the best part of the thing, really. I mean, let's just keep it real.
Yeah, but I was saying that if he's carrying the movie and not the supposed main character, we're in for a ride.
No, that could be said. But yeah, I mean, personally, like I said, I would have preferred to have seen. I would have preferred to have seen like Jim Carrey's the best part of that trailer. Really, the only good part about that trailer is Jim Carrey, because everything else is like, I'm like, James Marsden, that poor man. Like they screwed him over in.
And the funny part is that he's redoing the exact same scene from Hop, except with Sonic.
Yeah, it's like the man can't seem to catch a break, is what I'm saying. He can't. The man can't catch a break. I mean, they fucked him over in X-Men back in the day, and now they're screwing him over with the new stuff. It's like he can't
get a 20.
He can't catch a break. They will not give this man a chance to do something interesting.
I was about to say he keeps getting low numbers like 5s and 1s.
I don't know about 20. That, but the man cannot catch a break. They just continuously give him shit rolls. I mean, he's basically kind of like the how can I put this nicely? He's essentially.
I mean, he's the Kenny.
No, he's the Honest Gil. He's Honest Gil from The Simpsons. He's like, Honest Gil needs a break. Come on. Honest Gil needs a sail. like that's James Marsden. He just can't catch a break. He just Honest Gil, come on. Honest Gil needs something, it's And that's basically how it feels with James Marsden. Because I mean, I know he's actually a good actor. Like, he's not a bad actor, and yet for some reason
he gets carp.
they keep on putting him in shit. Speaking of movie-based video games, here's some news for you. From what I've seen of people who've seen test screenings of Detective Pikachu, they say it's pretty damn good.
I thought you were going to talk about St. Rose getting the movie treatment.
No,
Boy.
I'm about to do that one. I'm about to do it. But first we're gonna do Detective Pikachu because, that's the order of the notes. But your guys' thoughts on Detective Pikachu maybe being good?
Let's see. I hear that the movie is gonna release early in Japan because it's Golden Week today.
For me, I'm actually feeling a lot more hopeful to know how Detective Pikachu is doing.
Yeah, I never had any doubts, just because from my own thing, like, this is the first Pokemon movie that I saw the trailer for, and I wasn't like, this is going to be some trash. Like, because every other Pokemon movie I've seen, like, they show the trailer for it, and I'm like, this is going to be some garbage. This is going to be some hot buttered ass. and for the first time, a Pokemon movie comes out, and I'm like, wow, I think this could possibly be good.
Probably because you're only into cynical movies.
No, not true. I mean, there's some movies that have happy endings that I like, but I think, I mean, like, most of the Pokemon movies have been trash. Like, the only people who can enjoy a lot of the Pokemon movies, who legitimately say, yeah, that was good, are people who were like major, unapologetic, no questions asked, major hardcore fans of Pokemon. Like, Joe Blow, average consumer.
I'm going to have to punch you on that, because here's the thing. I watched every single one of them, and I will say that for the most part they're mixed, because some of them are at least gold and are pretty much fun to watch, even with family, and others I'll say are pure beeping cash grabs that are not even worth the footage it's printed on.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to disagree. For me, all of them have been trash. Like, all of the Pokemon movies have been hot buttered trash.
And that's due to your bias towards Ash and Pikachu.
No, exactly.
Like, give or take.
Yeah. I think what brings those movies down is that you have Ash Ketchum and Pikachu in it. Yeah, that brings the whole thing down, because they're designed to basically, like, it's like, because I remember the marketing they used for these movies. Like, hey, this is the first time you get to see some character in some character, and you're never going to see this character again, and then the character comes out, and it's like, oh, that's cool. But it's like nothing that I mean, this is like a standard anime film problem, where anime films basically will have something happen, some type of major character development, but it doesn't actually carry over to the mainline series. So it's like, well, that movie was a complete fucking waste of time, by and large. And I think that same thing is what's been going on with
it's happening with Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto.
Yeah, it's like you have this complete lack of character growth, or like a major character growth. It's like, oh, but guess what? That shit doesn't matter. It's like, come on, man, don't do that.
Well, in that case, you should have watched the My Little Pony movie, because that one actually carried over onto the show.
I didn't watch. I did not watch My Little Pony, because I had my fill of My Little Pony when I was a little kid, and it used to come on the Disney Channel. So before anyone says you don't get My Little Pony, no, I've seen it. I just I feel uncomfortable watching a movie about horses, fake horses, and some that are unicorns, and some that can fly, and a dragon for some odd reason, whatever.
You're missing a whole bunch from some good cartoons.
No, I'm good. No, I'm good. Seriously, I'm totally fine. I don't need My Little Pony, the cartoon. Thank you though for the for the observation. But with that being said, yeah, we can move on to the next video game movie. This just announced. This just came out. Apparently, they are making a Saints Row video game movie being directed by the guy who did Straight Outta Compton.
Seriously? Straight Outta Compton?
Straight Outta Compton. Which, I mean, I'm
Ladies
just kind of
weirded. Get ready for the weird.
Yeah, I'm just kind of weirded out that it's the guy who did Straight Outta Compton. That's the thing that kind of makes me go, come on, man. Yeah, it's the guy from Straight Outta Compton. I'm like, dude, you won an Oscar for your movie. Like, there's... Like, and now you're doing a shitty video. I mean, here's the thing. If any movie could work, it would be a Saints Row movie, because all it would be is just like a gangster film with like tons of people getting shot and having a cat busted in their ass. And here's the thing. A lot of the main characters in Saints Row are based on real life people, like the guy who's like one of the most popular characters in the series is acted by this guy named Daniel Day Kim. So it's like they could get like real life people to play a lot of these roles, but I mean, just seriously, like it's kind of weird. Your guys' thoughts on it?
And the movie's script is going to be written by the guy responsible for the Mortal Kombat reboot. The upcoming reboot, that is.
There's gonna be some weird WTF going on in that movie.
I guess, man. I guess. But that's my own personal opinion. I could very well be wrong, but that's my own personal.
All I can think of is they might try to make it based off of the later Saint Rose games where it went completely over the top.
I think it'll probably be like more Saints Row 2 and 3 because it's more grounded and they can make a cheaper movie, which is a smart move because, why spend a ton of money when you don't have to? But that's my own personal opinion. Either way, as long as it's violent and rated R, it'll be good. And I hope they have someone driving around in a sewage truck squirting raw sewage on properties in order to lower property value and make the houses sell for more, which is a mission in Saints Row. You can actually do that. So
one of the more odd missions, but yeah, it's a mission.
Any game that has some shit like that, I'm sorry, you sir have won. That is a winning formula. Like GTA has had some fucked up shit in it, but GTA never had some shit like that in it. So literally some shit like that. Literally. So like GTA San Andreas has like this restaurant called Rusty Brown Ring Donuts, which is a YouTube movie from Apple, and GTA and Saints Row was like, okay, we've got red freckle face bitches, which is Wendy's, but it's still called the red freckle face bitches. red haired freckle face bitches.
This is what happens when you guys take things too literally with your food. You get humor like this.
I love it. I love it. I like Saints Row. I think Saints Row is the underutilized, underspoken about series, and it's a shame that
Rockstar keeps on stealing their spotlight.
Well, not really. I mean, I think GTA by and large has some of the better like GTA by and large has the deeper gameplay. It used to, like, you had more character customization. Oh, not like you had a better story to the game, whereas like Saints Row is unapologetically a game. Like, it's totally cool with, hey, we're a game. Check this out. We do game stuff. This is a game. And it's totally cool with being a game, which I like, you know? Not saying it's perfect. I mean, GTA has its problems. For one thing, the later Saints Row took out a lot of customization options, and the missions became a little too grindy and like stuff like that. But I mean, if you can get past that, it's pretty good. Okay, then. So now that we've done that, I guess we can move on to
Endgame spoilers.
in-game spoilers. So we will be. This is only going to be a 10-minute segment. So you can come back. It's 8:05. You can come back at 8:15, and we'll be done. So with that being said, okay, you gone? Okay, let's get to it. So, what are your guys' thoughts on Age of Avengers? I mean, Avengers Endgame.
It was sad. It was happy, and I had the ride of my life with some of that movie.
Everyone is here except for Quicksilver, Loki, Vision.
Well, I mean, Quicksilver's dead, so
Loki managed to somehow get a stone and managed to slip out of New York.
Well, I was talking about the Loki in the Prime timeline, who is
they had to set up that new movie. So they have to set up that show where Loki's doing his own thing, going on his own adventures and shit. So
right. And I mentioned the omission of Yondu and Vision.
Yondu is dead and Vision is dead.
And pretty much the entirety of Asgardians, because they're all dead.
Didn't they have a fight with the Endgame of their own before?
Here's the thing. I think when they brought back, I think it was kind of like Dragon Ball, where they made a wish to bring back the people, but it was the people who were directly kind of connected to
the snap
to Thanos. Yeah, like, so the people who were killed by Thanos, they got to come back. But the people who like other shit, then you just shit. You're SOL. You're shit out of luck in JWF.
And there's a few big holes in the story that really bugs me now.
The time travel shenanigans.
The time travel shenanigans means that they go with the string timeline theory, which makes me wonder how the Hades are they gonna be able to fix that mess up. But also
the fixed timeline theory.
No, kind of, but here's the thing. Remember what they said when we were with Bruce Banner?
Yeah.
And hearing about the timeline thing?
Yeah. Any changes done to the past will create an alternate timeline separate from the prime timeline that you're from.
Yeah, so basically, when they took the time stones, they created an alternate timeline. When they put the Infinity Stones back, it fixed their alternate timeline, but only as far as certain changes, not all of them. Hence why, like when they brought all those people back, Tony Stark still has a daughter, or that type of stuff. Like, so it didn't fix everything; it just fixed a lot of it, basically.
Yeah, but I was also gonna say this, and I bet you neither of you thought about this. One of the time stones required a sacrifice. So how is that going to be fixed?
It's not going to be fixed. She's dead. It's just like their version of Gamora is dead. Like she's dead. They can't bring her back.
Yeah. And she is also dead when Iron Man Thanos snapped Thanos and his army from the 2014 timeline. Yeah. So now all the events of Infinity War will never happen in that time. In that
timeline, it never happened, which means that version of that timeline's Gamora is, she's now. That's why she. Although really, I mean, if anyone deserved to get kicked in the nuts, it was Star-Lord, since he fucked up their original plan to stop Thanos in the first damn place.
If anything, at least he gets the girl again. But
maybe Star-Lord messing things up was part of Doctor Strange's plan all along. If
that was true, that's a big beeping gamble that Strange took.
Yeah, there's a better way to solve shit than to, die horrifically.
I remember, he saw many outcomes and he only found one outcome where they won.
I mean, but that was more like a desperation thing right there. I would think there would be better ways to solve an issue than, people dying unnecessarily. But look, it's okay. I mean, I'm just saying, But anyway, yeah, that's my big thing where I'm just like, okay, That's let's see, we've got another 4 minutes, but so now that Tony Stark is gone, who's going to take his place? Like, who's going to be the leader of the Avengers? Because I've
been hearing a couple of suggesting Black Panther as the new lead, as the new Iron Man.
I think he could do it, but I mean, would they let him? Like, would they let him basically leave Wakanda and go do some other shit?
I mean, like being the new mascot of the.
Because here's the thing: if he becomes the new leader of the Avengers, he's gonna have to do what Black Widow is doing. He's not gonna be able to be in Wakanda and be king of Wakanda. He's gonna have to do other shit too.
Yeah, meaning that somebody like Rescue or the new Captain America, that's at least two choices.
I mean, I like Sam Wilson, but I don't think he can be the new leader of the team. I mean, he's good, but he doesn't have the
leadership that Steve Rogers had.
Yeah, like Captain America, that's his thing. Like, I'm a leader, I lead people. Sam, I mean, he's good, but he's not like Captain America good.
Yeah, I thought at least that would work somewhat, but now we have to think of who we got left. I mean, for senior members, the only ones that I could go with would be Bruce Banner and
Hawkeye.
Yeah,
but I don't think Hawkeye will want to get back into the shit like he's been, considering what he went through before. Like, I don't.
Especially with Endgame, yeah.
I don't see him wanting to do that.
And Bruce Banner would depend if how long his arm will heal from using the Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, I mean, he is the Hulk. The Hulk has regenerated limbs. Like, if you cut the Hulk's arm off, he can grow that shit back Piccolo style. So I mean, that's like
Piccolo healing,
I mean, but this is the cinematic version of the Hulk, who's really weak compared to other versions of the Incredible Hulk. So
yeah. But still, as I said, the Hulk may be slower with healing, but he at least heals.
Meanwhile, Thor's going to be a member of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the Asgardians of the Galaxy is they're calling them now. We are the Asgardians of the Galaxy.
And since the third one is hinted to be focused on Adam Warlock, they're probably going to need Thor for all the raw power.
Yeah, but Adam Warlock's a good guy. Adam Warlock's a good guy, so it would be kind of weird if Adam Warlock if they had to fight Adam Warlock because he's a good guy. And I don't mean he's kind of a good guy. Like in the comics, he was created specifically to fight Thanos. So, like, you know, but there's other villains. I mean, basically, look, I mean, think about this. What if they brought in, and let me just get this out before we end the spoiler section. What if they bring in the Fantastic Four and the X-Men to fight Galactus, and Reed Richards becomes the new leader of the Avengers? Yeah, because he's got the brain power for it.
But what about King the Conqueror, since time travel is involved?
Yeah, but time travel was only involved for this one film. Like that's, you know, it was like a one-off.
Yeah, like
I don't think
it's a one shot that they wouldn't pull this off again unless something real nasty comes up.
Yeah, the next thing is all going to be, I think the next phase is all going to be about cosmic stuff. So, I mean, cosmic, you're talking
Galactus,
yeah.
The Eternals.
Yeah, but I mean, technically Galactus is way more dangerous than the Eternals. But that being said,
I thought the Eternals were stronger than Galactus.
No, because the Eternals spend most of their time just hanging out in various places. They aren't, most of the time, they just want to be left alone. Galactus fucking eats planets. And he has to eat planets
and of course, Secret Wars was the Beyonder.
Yeah, but that's more of a Spider-Man thing, and I don't think people want to do the Spider-Man story yet, if you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So, but what do I know? I'm just some guy. Just some guy. Yeah. But that being said, that's the end of the spoilers. So I guess we can go to free topic now. So, anything you guys want to mention that you weren't able to mention in podcasts from weeks ago, if you want to?
Of all the things in the world that had to happen, we finally get to see how Sonic is animated.
Yeah, it doesn't look as bad as that little teaser poster looked, but it still doesn't look that good. Like
those human teeth. Yeah,
those human teeth are kind of like, ugh.
They could have did a lot better.
This looks a little weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little weird. I'm a little weirded out by it.
And this is probably between me and Pinks, but DDD versus Wario.
I haven't seen it yet, so no spoilers, please.
I saw it. All I'm gonna say is it was some bullshit, and that's it.
Some of the actions I'm gonna say were BS, but it was fun. It was a funny way that I actually imagined that it would end.
But they do that all the time in Death Battle. Like they'll have like a fight, and it's like, well, technically that's not how that fight's supposed to go. Actually, it's the defense.
One thing I have to say is that it should have been DDD versus Karul. Does that make sense?
Oh, beep, you know.
No, actually, the better fight would be Karul versus Bowser, because they're both big reptilian creatures.
Yeah.
Of course, they just have Bowser turn himself into a giant and step on them, because you know.
If anything, if that ever happens, my coins are on Bowser.
I put my money on Karul because Bowser's an idiot. Whereas
Bowser may be an idiot, but he endured a lot more than K. Rool.
He's like an sponge.
But Karul is smarter and more intelligent, and intelligence. Like, I mean, Karul had a fucking giant death laser built, and he actually succeeded in some of his plans. Whereas Bowser's constantly losing, like constantly, like almost every time. Actually, not almost every time.
You really, really are cynical at times, Red.
Oh.
And
No, I'm being a realist. That's not cynicism when you're looking at things in
keep
a
in mind
realistic fashion.
that's how base their characters' feats based on their endurances from their source games.
Yeah, which is kind of weird, but
a lot.
I mean, you know, like I just kind of think that he could. I just kind of think that he could win, just based on the whole being more intelligent.
Yeah, intelligence at times can only take you so far. I mean, check what happened when it came down to certain characters that had high intelligence.
And what?
If anything, I am Tony Stark versus Lex Luthor.
Yeah, but Tony Stark is more intelligent than Lex Luthor.
Oh.
And Darkseid was also more intelligent than Thanos.
Yeah. So still, intelligence beats pure raw strength. So.
And of course, Mewtwo beating Shadow for being more intelligent.
So. So, do you have another argument to a counter to the argument that an intelligent character can defeat a dumb one? I mean, that a dumb one can defeat an intelligent one?
Shoot, you. I'm still putting my coins on Bowser, you know.
Yeah,
not because of intelligence, but if anything, it's because if anything, it's one thing to be intelligent, it's another to actually execute it.
All right. Okay, then. So let's see. Yeah, the death battle was interesting. Let's see. What other? Who here is looking forward to Godzilla King of the Monsters?
I am. Of course, it comes out near the end of May.
You know the funny part? I saw a recent Twitter that was saying how the Avengers were going to get upstaged by Godzilla.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Not because it couldn't happen, but because the Avengers fought Godzilla and lost in the comics. Okay, Weister20 has a comment. He says Bucky or Rhodey. Well, Rhodey could be the leader of the Avengers after the events of Endgame. I mean, he's actually been in combat. He's led people. I mean, would you trust Rhodey though?
Good question.
I mean, weren't there theories that he was secretly a Skrull since he was able to survive that death-defying fall, that Civil War?
Yeah, but he was wearing power armor.
And we're not going to quote Duke Nukem because that really actually saved him.
Yeah, he's wearing power armor. I mean, don't you think Tony would put in his power armor like safeguards in case like it lost power and he went into an uncontrolled spiral or something? I mean, it'll keep you alive. I mean, you're going to take damage, like have a busted spine, but you'll be alive.
As I said, that power armor saved some lives, and no matter what Duke Nukem says, that's some good stuff.
Duke Nukem.
Yeah, if anybody knows that quote, then you get where I was coming from.
Yeah, I am a Duke Nukem fan. But yeah, for me personally, yeah, that's kind of like my thing where I'm kind of like, okay, this is Godzilla fought the Avengers in the comics and won. Yeah, that's right. Iron Man, Thor, the Hulk, none of them could beat Gojira.
And then a kid came by to tell Godzilla to stop, and then he went back to the sea.
Yeah, and then some nice, polite Japanese kid pops up and says, "Godzilla, could you please leave?" And Godzilla's like, "Sure." It was kind of a shitty ending too, because I really wanted to see Godzilla kick everybody's ass, because that's what makes Godzilla an interesting character, is when he's kicking everybody's ass. But can't have Godzilla kick everybody's ass, because that wouldn't be appropriate.
Or probably because of the licensing expiration with Toho.
No, it's the same reason why when they had Marvel versus DC, like the 2 or 3 times they did it, it always came out as like, well, technically it's a draw. Anyone could have won. It's like, but technically speaking, I disagree. Anyone could have won. That's my thing. I'm like, okay, like I'm not seeing anyone could have won this. Like they had Spider-Man lose to Batman, and I'm like, look, I like Batman, but there's no way on God's green earth that Batman could beat Spider-Man.
That's the thing.
There's also concerns that Godzilla King of the Monsters might not get as much money in the box office due to competition with the likes of Endgame, Detective Pikachu, and Dark Phoenix.
Yeah, I was with you until you said Dark Phoenix.
And of course,
because we all know that movie's gonna be trash, man.
If it's by the same people that tried to make Miss Marvel a superstar, I'll agree with you that Dark Phoenix is gonna be a burn.
No, it had nothing to do with Miss Marvel. It was
It's from Bryan Singer.
It's from Fox, so this is before the Fox merger. But no, the only reason I think it's going to be trash is because basically, like, as anyone who knows anything about the Phoenix Saga knows that it's supposed to be cosmic, right? Like that's the big thing, is that it's supposed to be this big cosmic threat. Guess what? They took out almost, aside from the beginning of the movie where he gets the Dark Phoenix powers, she basically, like, the end of the movie was supposed to be this big battle fought in space. Do you know that they took that out and have it, and it's on a fucking train? A fight with the Phoenix. The whole point of the whole damn thing is that Jean Grey is losing control over her powers and, going a little insane. And, like the Phoenix is this cosmic entity, but you can't actually do a lot of cosmic shit. It's totally fucked up. This is typical Fox. They love doing this. Like, hey, that looks like it might make sense. No, sir. No sense making here, brah. But yeah, I mean, do I think King of the Monsters is going to be perfect? No. I think it's going to have a lot of that bullshit generic American action music in it. I'm like, Legendary has all this money. Can they spring for some Akira Ifukube music? Seriously. That's my own personal opinion. But that's just me. So, anything else anyone wants to bring up before we wrap things up?
It's just one more thing. Sega planning to focus on existing IP and multi-platform systems moving forward, but they've already previously stated that, like, back in the early 2010s. I believe before or after Alien Colonial Marines came out.
Yeah, but whose fault is it that those movies are so fucking terrible? They want to treat it like, oh well, look, that was on you guys who did that shit. No one forced you to give Gearbox all that money for some bullshit. So now they won't make any new shit. It's just, well, we're gonna focus on old shit. And look, listen, I like old stuff as much as the next person, but good God, it's getting old.
I mean, you didn't enjoy much of Nintendo's recent new IPs.
That's not true. I like Splatoon, the first one. Not too wild about the second one, but I like Captain Toad. That was new.
But that wasn't a new IP though. That was a spinoff.
Yeah, but I mean, it was treated as a new IP because I mean, you know, it took the concept of a platformer and switched it around because it was a platformer where you could not jump, which is kind of weird because typically, you know, platforming, you can actually jump in it. Although, I mean, there were 2D platformers like that where you couldn't jump, and there was more of a strategic aspect to how you did stuff. So it wasn't really new, but in a 3D sphere, it was kind of new. A lot of people liked it. I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I do kind of like new IPs. I don't think you should basically shit on the old ones, but I mean, the problem with Sega isn't that they haven't been paying attention to the old ones. It's that all they seem to do is focus on the old IPs to the detriment of new shit, by and large. And when their new shit does come out, it sucks. Not all the time, but like 80% of the time, it's pretty bad. And I'm not happy about it, but what are you gonna do? You know, I didn't force them. Look, I did not force them to make some of the shitty games they've been making. All right.
Makes me wonder who the beep is in charge of their quality productions.
Okay. I didn't tell them to make Sonic. What was that 3D Sonic Forces? I didn't tell them to make that game. And that game sucked, okay? And I shouldn't have to be like, oh, well, you should play that shit. No, I shouldn't. That's not my job. So, but that's just me. You know, I could be wrong. You know, I'm just some guy. I mean, you know. But anyway, yeah. I'm not. I mean, I hope it's good, but I mean, whatever. I mean, personally, like I said, I just wish Sega would do something new with their IPs, or bring back some old shit. I mean, hell, I mean, when was the last time we played a Golden Axe? When was the last time? And I don't mean like a reissue. When was the last time we actually had a new Golden Axe? I mean, they're doing a new Streets of Rage.
Well, we are getting a new Streets of Rage game.
That's what I'm saying. They're doing a new Streets of Rage. Why not a new Golden Axe?
That's a good question.
Hell.
Or how about a new entry of Virtual Fighter?
I mean, that's okay. I was never that big of a Virtual Fighter fan, but hell, there are people who are. They could do with a new. I mean, like Sega has all these IPs. How about a new Virtual Racing, or a new Daytona USA? I mean, there's a whole bunch of new stuff they could come out with that they're just like,
or stuff that they could dig out of their past, like Valve should be trying to do.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm not gonna be like, oh well, surely. I mean, I'm just saying it could be a little bit better. That's all I'm saying. All right. I know some people are gonna get mad when they hear that because people love to get angry all the time whenever you say something that they don't like. But that's my own personal opinion. I totally think that you could totally make a good. There's a case to be made for making new IPs because I mean, here's the thing, Sega. Like the vast majority of their money doesn't even come from video games anymore. Like it's their gambling machines and
their licenses.
What?
And their licenses?
Not really, no. It's from their other stuff, like their weird shit that no one cares about. This type stuff. And I mean, look, I understand that. They're like Konami. The vast majority of Konami's money comes from their pachinko machines. I get it, but seriously, there's other stuff. Stop always going with the same safe shit over and over and over again, which is what they've been doing. Is it safe? Okay, we'll continue to go with safe stuff. I mean, I like safe stuff too, but goddamn,
Yeah.
But what do I know? I'm just some guy. So anything else? Anyone here? Let me see if there's any breaking news, because the Epic information was pretty breaking. Let's see. Go to Nintendo Life. Oh, Earthworm Jim is coming back as an Intellivision Amico exclusive.
Never heard of that system.
Yeah, it's this new kind of retro system that's based upon the Intellivision. I'm just kind of weirded out that it's like that it's on something that I don't think is going to have that much mass market appeal, which kind of makes me sad because I love Earthworm Jim. It's one of my favorite unknown franchises. Well, not unknown, but underappreciated by the vast majority of gamers franchises. And it's going to be on the Amico. And we haven't seen any pictures of this game, by the way. We don't know what it's going to look like, what the gameplay is going to be like. We just know that it's going to be, So, and if you want to know what it's going to look like, there'll be a live stream on the design meeting on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook May 4th at 12 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's it. That's the only little bit of news I can really think of. Power Rangers Battle for the Grid finally got a story mode.
For anybody that's a Power Rangers fan, this is a pretty good thing. And something that was supposed to be said, finally.
Yeah, I mean, if you really love Power Rangers, this is for you. Unfortunately, I'm one of those people who really does not love Power Rangers, so this is not for me. And I know what some people are going to say. What do you mean you don't love Power Rangers? When Power Rangers came out, I was still kind of on that TMNT thing, so that was like my thing.
And the funny part is that the two had a crossover, and I bet you that it was terrible.
What, TMNT? And yeah, there was a crossover between TMNT and Power Rangers, and it was trash. But this was when Power Rangers bought the rights to Power Rangers, and so they made Power Rangers The Next Mutation, which was this shitty this absolute piece of shit. What was it called?
Well,
it was basically a live action Power Rangers type thing, except it was, instead of the Power Rangers, it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So you already know it was going to be, and it was from Haim Saban, aka Shuki Levy, aka these motherfuckers who just, cheap ass. The suits were so cheap and badly made. And here's the thing. I'm saying this as a TMNT fan who, was reading the comics when I was a kid, watched the TV show, watched the first movie, watched the second movie. The third one is trash, but I watched it. And I noticed something with each of these movies. The suits got cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Like the first movie, the suits were really expensive and they looked expensive. The second movie, they were a little bit cheaper, but they still looked like they had some money spent on them. The third movie, it was like, fuck,
Really?
so cheap. And then like I thought that was the bottom of the barrel, as cheap as the suits could get. But then they made the TV show The Next Mutation, and that shit was even worse because the suits just looked bad. Like Shredder looked bad, Splinter looked bad, Venus de Milo looked bad, the Turtles looked bad. I was like, man, fuck this. And I've never felt that way about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because like that's my jam. That was what I grew up with. That was what I loved when I was a little kid was TMNT. And they ruined it. Those bastards. Those rat bastards ruined it. And before anyone says anything, I'm Team Leonardo all the way. Leonardo and
Leonardo Donatello for me.
Leonardo and Michelangelo because he's a party dude. Hey man, you a party dude? Yeah, I'm a party dude, all right. Let's party, bro.
Guess we can wrap this up now.
I guess we can. So, with that being said, where do we go from here? What is there left to say except, I mean, we got some good movies coming out over the next few weeks. We got Detective Pikachu coming out. People are gonna love that shit. We've got what else do we have coming out this month? Oh, Godzilla.
And we got Guacamelee Duology Collection coming to Switch in physical format.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't already have that game, it's coming. I think it's also coming physically to a lot of other stuff. So if you don't own a Switch, you can put it on something. So there you go. Guacamelee is a good game. It's kind of like a Metroidvania, except the combat is a little stiff, but it works. It's one of those things where the combat's a little stiff, but you don't really mind because everything just works really well together, which is kind of weird, but whatever. But yeah, TMNT. Some good stuff coming out. Anything else you guys want to bring up before we wrap things up? Let me check.
Move.
Okay, then. So that's the end of the podcast. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. We have another podcast coming up this Saturday, 7:30 to 9. Where we will be covering the news of the week, which we probably will have some cool shit coming through because we always have cool shit coming through. That's how we roll, son.
The one thing I think that we might be forced to cover in a sense that day, may the 4th be with you.
Oh yeah, that's on a Saturday.
Okay, I guess we can cover. I guess we can make that podcast into a Star Wars. Oh shit! Yes, we do have to talk about Star Wars that day. We have to talk about the awkward meeting that Kathleen Kennedy had in the Rise of
the Skywalker.
No, in the shadow of how badly she's been fucking up the Star Wars franchise. In light of what Kevin Feige's been doing with his 22 movies. And that's going to be a fun podcast. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. You guys have anything you want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
I'm good. Oh God, I'm so gonna not hear the end of this one.
All right. So with that being said, remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. You can reach me on Twitter at Matthew Wesley at mrredfox91, or you can also reach me on mrredfoxbsbuster at gmail.com. So yeah, that being said, remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe, and peace.
And hype responsibly.